Radiant team ban. Phoenix's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Doom.
Phoenix's turn to pick.
Welcome back, everybody. It took a while, took a little while, but we are finally here with our second series of the day. It is going to be Signature.Trust versus MVP Phoenix. MVP Phoenix just recently off of a loss against TNC in the BTS series. Keen, I couldn't watch that match because I was doing invoices. I was actually trying to, do some other business instead of just watching Reddit and stuff. But you watched the match. How did MVP look?
They looked normal, except for like the game 2. I couldn't actually watch it. When I tuned in for game 2, they had pretty much already lost. And game 3, they were in a very dominant position, except they kind of failed to close out the game. They basically took out all the outer towers. They stole Roche from TNC. It was a pretty chaotic fight, and they kept getting picked off by TNC's guerrilla tactics, like the Nature's Prophet and the Clink's Spectre. It had pretty good global presence, but yeah. They made a couple of mistakes, and TNC made a pretty big comeback from it. But other than that, they're not playing particularly bad. I'd say after the recent majors and Dota Pit, people have really high expectations for MVP. So that might be why people think they're underperforming. It's just that, good games and bad games, the difference isn't all that big. It's just a matter of focus, right?
Right.
If they were slightly more focused, they would have these clean games, but those moments where they are zoned out and get picked off, that's a few seconds of defocus just completely change the game. So,
and that is something that we did talk a lot about the last time you and I were casting MVP Phoenix, is that they do seem to be a team that excels when they go on land. So people expecting, a lot of things from them after, the great Shanghai run that they had, as well as the Dota Pit, being able to take that whole entire thing against Evil Geniuses. Those are really high benchmarks, but you can't expect a team like MVP Phoenix to always be that dominant, seeing as they're a team that seems to perform up when the time is right, when the pressure is down. Sometimes teams, they will turn to the pressure, but it seems like MVP Phoenix actually excel under those kind of scenarios. But it does mean that their regular online performance can be a bit lackluster, and purely by comparison.
Yeah, they're definitely a LAN team, but that's not to say they're not trying their hardest in these online qualifiers. It's just that it's sort of hard, right? You have to be there at the event, like you have to see the crowd and like be in a booth, and then it's not a conscious choice to say I'm gonna try harder. It's just like all the adrenaline or whatever you call it is it helps them play their absolute best. But they're going up against Signature, which is interesting because we just mentioned in their earlier series that Signature broke Fnatic's crazy win streak. So I honestly haven't seen too much of Signature lately, but if anything, like beating Fnatic, I don't even have to look at the games. That just tells they're at least able to beat MVP Phoenix. If they're able to beat Fnatic while they're obviously capable of beating MVP Phoenix, like their draft so far, not sure if this is planned. Like it's a pretty uncommon opening. What do you say, like a Doom Crystal Maiden opening? So they might have something planned for just for MVP.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty unusual. I'm not sure if this has to do, like they first picked the Doom, which I'm presuming has to do with the fact that they know, well, maybe they just didn't want the Enchantress for themselves, but they knew MVP Phoenix was going to take it. So, of course, MVP Phoenix, Enchantress Witch Doctor, we've seen this duo before. And then Crystal Maiden going the way of Signature.Trust is again another anti-Enchantress hero, at least when it comes to the creep. Really good in that regard. So it's definitely a bit unique, but it feels like Signature.Trust are very prepared for this matchup against MVP Phoenix and know what they want to run. Juggernaut picked up by Phoenix, but Phantom Lancer is the response from Signature.Trust, which means we may be we're going to have to see now a Battle Fury build for the Juggernaut.
Yeah, I mean, so far, Signature.Trust, their lineup synergizes pretty well with the Crystal Maiden. Like, Doom and PL, one of the top heroes in terms of benefiting from the CMR. And I'm guessing this is going to be just the standard, or I guess like nowadays, the standard lane for PL has become the mid lane. We see a lot of mid PLs, which is a odd thing to say, just like if you go back to a few months back. So mid is possibly still open for Signature, because when I think of MyPro and Lakel's, I would definitely just go with Lakel's playing the PL, and I wouldn't really consider MyPro to be a PL kind of player. He plays a lot of Queen of Pain, like Wind Ranger, Lina, these kind of assassin heroes, and there isn't an invoker in the pool to prompt such a pick like a PL mid configuration for Signature. So we'll have to see. And MVP responds with an Earthshaker, which is a really wise choice against the PL. I guess it's like the Enchantress and Earthshaker are interchangeable between Febby and Forev. But Forev really likes playing the Enchantress. So does Febby, but I feel like the offlane Earthshaker would be nice because it's going to get the faster blink dagger, just faster items in general against the PL, which is much needed for their lineup right now.
MVP Phoenix, their lineup is looking like it's pretty like relatively early game focused, kind of momentum based. Chris, Bounty Hunter is going to go the way of Signature, but how would you like to see MVP Phoenix round out their lineup for their mid, unless it's another curveball and we have like a mid Juggernaut or something?
That's more of a T thing.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're under some pressure because, as it happens, I think both teams right now are lacking a mid hero, and Signature have the last say. They have first pick, so they're gonna have to go in blind. But for now, they probably want more damage, right? Like they have some control between the Witch Doctor and Earthshaker. Juggernaut does like okay damage at early levels. Then he has to get like the level 2 Omni Slash and some items to do reliable damage. So I'm thinking, let's see, what would Kyo play? It could be an MP mid, depending on what hero they pick. All the popular heroes are banned out right now. Wind Ranger possibly, but like Wind Ranger against PL can be pretty rough.
I really like the choice by Signature.Trust to ban away the Emperor Spirit as soon as MVP Phoenix banned DP.
10 seconds
I think that definitely would have been the hero that Phoenix would have picked up, as the Death Prophet is one of the most awful mids for you to face up against as any melee hero.
Reserve time.
Yeah. I mean, they also didn't want to have to play against the Ember Spirit with a PL, but Alchemist, I don't know how I feel about this. We've had some, I mean, while I was a player, one of the last meta heroes, while I was an MVP, was the Alchemist, and it takes a lot of coordination. It's not just like Alchemist just farming. You have to keep a balance between, like, you don't want the Alchemist to be farming and the other 4 heroes to not have anything to do, because you're essentially lacking a mid hero. That's one of the reasons, like, it's a common scenario in pubs too. When you have an Alchemist on your team, you seem to just lose early mid game by default. And with the heroes that MVP have, which isn't too bad, but I don't think Juggernaut is going to feel too happy about having to just go around creating spaces. Omni Slash is not that short of a cooldown, and we're going to see a mid Jakiro. I mean, the Signature could have picked any hero, I feel. It's an Alchemist after all. But Jakiro should be able to pressure this Alchemist quite hard, and it's also a really nice hero in terms of abusing the absence of the Alchemist. Post-laning phase, Alchemist is going to... He may not go for the Radiance, he may go for the Armlet build, but still, he wants to make good use of his Grievel's Greed, and meanwhile, Jakiro is just pushing down your towers. Earlier we saw what Pugna and Fnatic could do, and I'd say Jakiro arguably is a better pusher than Pugna, so might be scary for MVP.
So knowing that, one, you outlined some of the problems with picking the Alchemist in conjunction with heroes like Juggernaut, but also, two, the fact that they are going to be facing up against a core that is able to push down towers. What kind of build would you like to see the Alchemist? You briefly mentioned, the Armlet build. Do you want to see something that is a little bit more, say, Shadowblade ganking focused from the Alchemist? Should he try and be more of that active carry, kind of the same way that we saw, maybe even like the way the Miracle man it, with the choice of going the what's that? The Medallion of Courage.
Armlet. Yeah, Armlet, Sanjin Yasha, Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
I could see that working out. And well, first of all, I think MP might be playing the Alchemist unless they're gonna do the switcheroo mind games. And just the fact that MP is playing the Alchemist over QO probably means MP is gonna go for a less greedy build, because this is the way that the dynamic of the team is that QO is sort of like the true carry of this team. It's actually going to be a safe lane Alchemist.
Okay, this is interesting. It's already got the Soul Ring Recipe, so we will have ourselves a mid-Juggernaut. Just feels like purely out of more of necessity. A hero that's going to be able to actually stay in lane against the Jakiro and isn't going to be off doing jungle half the time, exposing that tier 1 tower to the early Jakiro push. This seems like a decent response. Meanwhile, Signature.Trust, obviously, they've got the Doom offlane, which should be doing all right. They also have, I feel like Juggernaut, you can't put as much pressure on a Juggernaut when it comes to ganking from the Bounty Hunter either. Like, Alchemist doesn't have the same kind of defensive capabilities that Juggernaut has.
They ping out the Bounty Hunter, and yeah, as you mentioned, one of the nice things about Juggernaut, much like the PL, is that it's almost immune to Bounty Hunter harassment. But that's not to say he's going to have an easy lane. Even though he does have the Blade Fury, Jakiro is nothing to scoff at in the lane. Wonder, oh man, if they both get both the Bounty Runes, that's going to be so big.
Block off is there, QO. Right clicking away. Bounty Rune is going to go his way. Now he's going to have to use his spin here in order to get out safely. Lettel's just trying to go for the body block just to improve the damage they can get onto QO. They're actually going to go for the dive here as they manage to hit the Crystal Nova. QO will be the first blood. They managed to chase him down all the way underneath the tier 1 tower. The heavy investment from Signature.Trust, but they do get some payback for that Bounty Rune being stolen. Still though, I doubt QO is going to be too concerned. Starting out with both Bounty Runes is still really good.
Oh, and nice block from Febby.
Pro just kind of battles it out, realizes he's going to have to scoot his way out of here, otherwise he's going to take too much damage.
Yeah, lucky thing, Blade Fury cooldown is quite long. But I'd say MVP are, yeah, like you said, pretty okay with that exchange.
Pro, he thought he could turn around and go for that one, the Fairy Fire, and
oh,
they
no!
also get the Fissure. Still, though, I think that no matter what, QL was kind of trapped in there by creeps. So this definitely opens the Doom up to having a much better time at the top lane, but it's they're essentially running a dual lane for a dual lane. Bounty Hunter's going to roam onto mid, so they're kind of keeping the Earthshaker mid as well.
Yeah, and not to mention the CM was sort of forced to skill Crystal Nova, so this Enchantress is going to have more time to, like, CM wants to get level Aura at level 2 possibly, which means it delays it until level 3, the Frostbite, and then 4F should have a pretty good lane.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Boombell is going to be behind into farm. Brev is able to do a lot more in this lane. In fact, he just got the Wild Wing Ripper, which is pretty happy days for him. Nice. Tornado is going to be able to curb some of that harassment. Sure.
Now, Bounty Hunter and Earthshaker both converging on mid. I like the Sentry Ward placement from Kyo. It's pretty unexpected. Like, it shares a lot of the area with the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So when Bounty Hunter puts down the Sentry, he'll kind of panic. He'll be like, "Where's the Sentry?"
Yeah. I've actually seen, this is like a very recent trend, but if you look at the Radiant side mid, the ward is usually like right here or even a little bit farther back, underneath the Radiant tower as well. That seems to be the recent trend in order to deal with bounty hunters, because most of the time, like, you don't need the ward to cover the other side of the hill for you. That's just like that's completely unnecessary. All you need is to cover your own hill against a bounty. Top lane, Dubu is going to be run down. Jabs, his rotation is able to help AABBA. It's a kill there, and he is going to be doing really well in this lane. And Doom is a very scary hero up against dual lanes, because he's able to abuse you so easily with that Infernal Blade plus Scorched Earth.
Having the Alchemist as your laning partner doesn't really help either. He's such a passive hero. Like, they can basically ignore the Alchemist when they go for the Witch Doctor. We're at mid, though. It's kind of I guess it's not really a stalemate. My pro is pressuring Kyo quite hard, and Kyo has to walk to base. One of the rare sites. Kyo usually is very good at getting the CS for his first bottle, and over at bottom. Wow. That was unexpected. I guess in a way, the Untouchable doesn't help too much against PO and Crystal Maiden.
Right. Either one of those heroes are going to be right-clicking a lot, but they do have a lot of nukes between the... Oh, look at that. My pro. Just as Juggernaut's about to come back, he finds a regen room. Be lucky.
Is there any player that's known for regen runes, like the S4 haste rune?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's kind of weird. Because regen runes are so game-changing in the pre-4 minute phase.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there are games that I feel are honestly won by regen runes. Like, both mid players are so low, and especially back then when the runes spawn randomly on either side. Oh, Dubu
goes down again. Not much that Heavy or MP could do about this.
It is such a tough lane for Witch Doctor and Febby.
Bounty Hunter, they actually might be able to trade this one out. Jabs doesn't even go down. AABBA, though, he's got to back himself up. He started thinking he was going to be able to hit the Infernal Blade and follow up with another Shockwave, but realizes he was too far out. Will be able to keep his healing self for the most part. Jabs goes ahead and commits suicide against the neutrals. Bottom lane looks like they're going to go on for Rev. The Frostbite is there. They don't have another round of nukes. This Lance is kind of final, and it's not enough to actually kill Rev, so he should get away.
Nice escape from Forev. I don't think Lakelza and Boombill even wanted, like, they didn't expect to get the kill. It was just some sort of harassment to bait out the heal, to put Enchantress on the back footing. And now that there's a bounty on her, though.
Maybe.
Crystal Maidens.
It takes so long. Can't even get the Janata hit in. So Forev's just battling it out with Lakels right now because he's got the Satyr creep. Now the bounty hunters reveal himself. Forev is going to start backing himself away. There's going to be another lance coming out. Forev not quite dying to that one. Goes down to 29 HP. Lakels is going to end up dying to the tower shot. Courier gets away ever so barely. Everything on MVP Phoenix is just lucking out by inches. Boombell is now going to be run down by QO underneath the tower as well. So rotation. QO.
He does not
time.
have a TP.
Starts bottling himself up. He's got the healing ward. Healing ward takes out by the tower, and he will end up going down. Been able to juke that out for a few more seconds and had his Blade Fury. Maybe he could have escaped. Uh-oh! Now MP is going to be gone on the top lane. It's Phantom Lance who makes a rotation up the top lane. He just uses Soul Ring too. For AABBA, managed to snatch him there. Bottom lane, back over to there. Febby ends up going down. Jabs, as well as MyPro, chase down that Earthshaker. And the laning phase is broken. That's really what it comes down to. No hero is in the lane that they are supposed to be at this point.
This is so much trouble for MVP, considering they're a team renowned for winning the early game. Like, the early laning phase, they are pretty strong in the laning phase, but all three lanes are pretty much a disaster. We saw what happened to the supports at top. Kyo isn't having an easy time. And I guess Forev is, like, individually, he's having an okay time, but his teammates kind of screwed up the lane for him.
Yeah. Gonna lose his Wild Wing Ripper to the Crystal Maiden.
And Jakiro, MyPro on this Jakiro, I keep looking at the Jakiro because I haven't seen too many mid Jakiros, like, for myself. Just interested to see, like, the, you know, like, what kind of details, like, what separates the mid Jakiro from other Jakiros. And he's going for 404, which isn't too uncommon, and looks like an early Yule Scepter.
This'll come in handy.
It's interesting.
I guess it makes a lot of sense because he's gonna do so much damage output, and it's gonna give him some sort of defensive ability against the Juggernaut as well.
Yeah, I guess I didn't, like, there was that old Jakiro Yule Scepter, you know, you would get Yules and Blink on, like, the 4-position Jakiro. And that was pretty good at one point in time, but I'm surprised the Yules now just because of the decreased range. I guess if you're not focusing too much on Ice Path, the decreased range doesn't hurt you as much, but it does kind of suck just because it's not the same kind of initiating item it once was. In fact, you'll see Lena's oftentimes build Ether Lens when they go Yule to increase that range.
Oh, Dubu. They are quite surrounded. The rest of MVP have TPs. The Juggernaut does not, and Forev and Earthshaker do, but I feel like it's going to be too late.
Yeah, they got the Doom. Dubu's just going to leave MP behind. He knows the guy's very dead with his rage, but he's not going to be able to make it out. Wow, double kill.
Yeah. Maybe if the Alchemist had Chemical Rage ready before the gank, they might have considered going for it, but Signature.Trust, well, like we presumed, are very prepared for this match, it seems. They know exactly what to do. Feels like they've studied a lot of MVP.
Oh, the Bouncing Shuriken, not going to be enough damage. Fairy Fire goes out just in case. Good attempted play there from Jabs to try and finish off the Juggernaut. Unfortunately, his rotation was a bit too late. Had to go for the YOLO play. But as a whole, Signature.Trust are obviously very well for themselves. 11-3, 10 minutes in. They have 4,000 gold lead already. As you said, against a team like MVP Phoenix, that means all the more than it usually does.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, I mean, it means so much because MVP, what they usually do is they win the early game, make those good smoke rotations into the enemy jungle, put those crazy aggressive wards, and after that, it's almost impossible from the receiving end to deward. Like it's basically a battleship, so you have to play the guessing game, and because you lost the early laning phase, your supports are poor, they can't afford like 4 or 6 sentries, then now you're contained in your base, and everything that happens is going to be close to your tower. If you lose objectives. If you win, I mean, then you don't get any extra out of it. You maybe get some kills, but that's it.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And I
Radiant's bottom tower
actually
is
didn't
under
look too
attack.
much at MP, but he is going for the Radiance build.
Radiant's
Uh-oh,
bottom tower
Rev's dead.
is under attack.
Yeah.
I mean, Doom. They finally hit him with the ice path. We gotta be able to slow him down. That's 5-0.
Yeah, no Doom.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Doom not required. I like the choice of picking up that early perch creep. So there was really no way that Enchantress could actually escape. But he's also doing something really smart. He's holding on to his mana oftentimes. QO.
Yo, gonna get doomed.
Yeah, he's gonna be doomed up. Doom is gonna have to come in with a Voodoo Restoration to heal him off. Bebby trying to stop this push forward with a Fissure, but he's gonna end up costing his life while QO does manage to escape. Looks like that Voodoo Restoration live, but still, Signature.Trust put the pressure on MVP Phoenix, force them to react defensively, still losing some heroes and still gonna lose their tower as well.
Yeah. Jab's trying to go for the career, but a bit late. But I mean, that just illustrates the problem with Alchemist. Not the problem, rather the weakness. And it's a safe lane Alchemist, which is not too common. But still, I think it basically has the same weakness.
Just got his relic. Jab's able to pick him off inside the jungle because he's a little bit just over leveled as a bounty hunter.
I saw Bounty Hunter go into the jungle to track the Alchemist, but didn't really think much of it, because how would a Bounty Hunter really kill an Alchemist? But I suppose the Soul Ring and taking damage from 2 camps made it possible.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Oh.
under attack.
Jabs is like, nope, you are not going to be stacking that up. Damage on the Febby, they have it blocked out anyway.
Gil at bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Then he's going to be perched up. Omni Slash goes around, doesn't have to spin for another 5 seconds, so they're able to hold in place really well. He will have to spin, he's going to go for the TP out, but there's too much damage. Again, Jabs' rotations, even if he didn't have the most successful first 2 or 3 minutes, he his rotations ever since been paying off big time.
Dire's structures are fortified.
That is one of the worst feelings as Juggernaut too. Using Omni Slash and then dying anyway.
They're going to feel pressure all over the place. Their tier 2 tower going to be taking some damage. Boombell will not be able to escape. Okay.
Dire's top tower
Here
is
I
under
would think the
attack.
paralyzing cast wasn't going to be in time, but Bebby actually was right behind the 2 of them. Does manage to hit the Fissure. MP going to be tracked down again. Has the Urn plus the Shuriken. All he needs is 1 right click here, and Jabs will be able to pick up the kill. Oh! He had it. Jabs unable to finish that attack. Alchemist will be able to live another day. Mid lane, Rev. He's going to be heavily nuked here. Dual Breath. They have the Eul Scepter into this combo, but it's not quite enough damage. Rev's going to be able to out-heal that damage over time and throw some return fire onto the Chikiro.
MVP are avoiding the worst scenarios, which is, your Alchemist and other, not even just the core, just their heroes getting picked off. But still, I can't get rid of the feeling that they are still in so much trouble. Like this Alchemist Radiance, okay, you get the Radiance, but it's nothing like a Spectre Radiance. It doesn't really increase your chances of winning all that much at that moment. He's gonna be able to, if you get the Radiance and you aren't able to freely farm the map, then it's kind of a useless item. You want to be able to go to far places like the jungle, clear 2 camps at once. But at this rate, it doesn't look like he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, if you look at that net worth chart, It's real dismal for MVP Phoenix because while they may be ahead as the Alchemist, he is not ahead enough. He's pretty much tied out with 3 other heroes almost. The Doom hero and even the Phantom Lancer is not trailing by too much. And as an Alchemist, you need to be ahead by not just 1k. You need to be ahead by like 5 to 7k.
Yeah, pound for pound, he has to basically just go Bill Gates mode and have so many more items than the opponents.
We're not sure if he's going to be able to have that time simply because Signature.Trust are putting so much pressure on these towers. They've taken another tier 2 and looks like they're going to take another fight too. QO got the Doom on him, but managed to get the Blade Fury off first. Dooku is going to be sitting underneath the Chikiro fire. That should be enough to finish him off. QO will be able to escape, but Rev might be in some trouble still. He's going to be ice pathed up, healed up the hold still. Febby gets the Echo Slam, but it's not quite enough to really kill any of these heroes. The Omni Slash bounced around, that's not enough either. Lakelz dodges the Fisher, runs down Febby, and will be able to claim that kill, looks like, without dying. None of Signature.Trust's heroes end up going down except for the Doom towards the tail end there. And it looks like Lakelz still ended up dying to the last shot from the tower as well, but that was all after MVP Phoenix had died.
They don't get any EXP, which is it's often overlooked, right? Experience. People often focus on the net worth, but when you're behind, one of the equally important ways to come back into the game is getting experience. It's kind of tragic that they weren't able to get much of the experience. However, they did make some money. Like the Earthshaker, just a few minutes ago, he only had brown boots and he was carrying clarities. He didn't even have money for like a soul ring or a mango. But it's also important that these supports like Dubu and Febby are able to buy the consumables they need. They need wards, they need sentries for the bounty hunter and for D wards.
They desperately need that Blink Dagger, especially to threaten Lakelz. And ideally, put a stop to these pushes from Signature.Trust so they can come back.
Yeah, now Jakiro has that Rod of Atos, which is going to be quite good against both the Juggernaut and the Alchemist. Juggernaut will have to Blade Fury prematurely, doesn't really do damage, and then that means like you're Blade Furying in and he can potentially get doomed or like ice pass before he can get the Omni Slash off. And gonna go for the Roche here, Signature. MVP have okay ways of contesting if they are in position. However, it's gonna be a big risk. They have to put on the acid spray and fissure spams, possibly like a nice death ward. Signature gonna respect this contest for now.
So no free Roshan just yet for Signature.Trust, but I think at this point, since they couldn't quite get that, they're just going to push down bottom. Take that tier 2. And there. Ooh, yeah, they got MP. I think they got him dead to rights here. So much damage. They're able to keep those slows down and keep him under that macro pyre. They've got Doom's really good, not necessarily because of any of his other abilities. It's actually the Infernal Blade that is so strong against the Alchemist, just because he's a higher HP pool. So they get another track kill. They're going to be able to get a Blink Dagger now for our Doombringer. So he now has that initiation factor with Signature.Trust. We're a little bit lacking, to be honest. Their initiation was essentially Yule Scepter or Janata Slow from the Bounty Hunter, and that was kind of it. Now
they're going to break the smoke here.
Fortunate, they're still trying to chase down MVP in the Radiant jungle, but they give up on that chase.
Any kill on like the Earthshaker or the Witch Doctor would also secure them the Roche. But they got greedy and tried to go for a QO. Who's honestly not big of a threat. He's going to have such a hard time doing anything in the team fights. Has to watch out for the Dooms. Just a lot of disables.
Seems like MVP is giving up this road shot. Alchemist tried to TP up to the top lane, but the creep ended up dying. QO's hard pushing mid, trying to go for the tower. So they're just trying to give whatever they can. out of an Aegis being claimed by Signature.Trust.
Yeah, what's important is that this Alchemist is able to farm not just his own jungle, but control the waves in a way that they can delay the fights. And poor Dubu, he's just so poor. Level 6 at 20 minutes with just brown boots. But it's what happens against a bounty hunter when you have to buy so many sentries. You get pressured in your own safe lane.
Dire's structures are
I don't see any movement from MVP to defend this tower right now, and they have to realize they're playing against the Jakiro.
Radiant's top tower
It has
is
to be
under
addressed
attack.
right away.
Yeah, he's gonna burn down this tower so quickly. Every 4 seconds, laying out another liquid fire. The initiation comes from the Alchemist. They are able to combo stun Mypro, making sure he doesn't get off a good ice path. The Guardian Greaves does barely keep our Jakiro alive from those enchant shots.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Jump in. Oh, AABBA looking for his Doom target, tries to throw it on a QO, does get it off in the last second, but his initiation kind of ruined there, and they will have return fire there from MVP Phoenix. Looks like QO is going to be dying to the damage over time from MyPro, but it is still a 2-for-1, make it a 3-for-1. Oh, saves the Aegis just for a second, and then Forev casually finishes it off. Signature.Trust, that was just not quite the initiation they needed.
Yeah. I think that Doom jumping in like that was a bit too... I mean, he's not all that tanky. He has a lot of items, but like you're not
This'll come in handy.
tank tier 3 and tier 4 tanky. And then this can start to look like a comeback for MVP because Alchemist has slowly been getting some farm. He's going to have his Manta. For other heroes, you might say it's going to take like 2 minutes or so, but for Alchemist, you could potentially, just by clearing this camp. Except Lakel's didn't get a glimpse of MP there because it was nighttime.
Boombell's going to be spotted out. Lakel's still going to battle this one out, though, with Dubu trying to finish him off real quickly. Thevi, very smart TP out. Paralyzing cast got him a lot of issues as well. Lakel's tanks the unstable concoction will be able to doppelganger to the side. Jabs is going to be run down by QO. Brev here, as the big damage dealer, is still around with a 4-staff. He managed to take out Lakel's. A bit of a comeback here from MVP Phoenix, successfully defending their high ground, and now trading 1 for 3 in that fight.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah,
tower is
definitely.
under attack.
These kind of plays are not what you expect from either side. Like MVP weren't expecting to be given handouts, and Trust definitely not their game plan. And if they come to a point where they aren't able to just force high ground, that's gonna become really troublesome when MP gets his full rat set. The Octarine core on top of the Manta. They do have okay abilities to catch out the Alchemist, but Alchemist is just like the Naga Siren. Like he's very... he doesn't take any risks, basically, pushing out the waves, which is so frustrating later on.
Talk about split pushers. Kiwo's been doing a lot of that because they only have one disabled to go through his spin. He's able to aggressively push out, spin TP on lanes.
And Enchantress, 4 have decided to go for the 4-staff instead of the Aghanim Scepter. I think this is a really good choice because their main focus was surviving the game. He didn't really... Yeah, you can get the Aghanims, and I say that, and he gets doomed. Great, dead.
Takes so long, but he gets the Infernal Blade down. Forev will end up dying. What do you think about this choice, though, from Forev to go for this offlane build where he picks up the normal, the normal increase in range, but then he goes for the 4-staff and now Mask of Madness?
I think Mask of Madness is more about the high ground defense. He wants to be able to chuck whoever, like earlier the Doom blinked in, and if ever there's a scenario where there are Radiant heroes on the Dire like base, like high ground, then he wants to turn on that Mask of Madness, and it probably does more damage than the Aghanim Scepter because of sheer attack speed. And then it could also force the Doom to doom him instead of his Alchemist and Juggernaut buddies.
Yeah.
Which is not the worst because it's like, hey, do me instead. Except I'm gonna have a heal, and there's a good chance I'm gonna survive it.
I was just going to lead into that question. Do you think that Doom now should be prioritizing the Enchantress just purely based off of that damage? Even if you can't get that kill, disabling that impetus shot and forcing the Enchantress back to Fountain, is that the better play than targeting the Juggernaut?
It's hard to say. I think I've mentioned this in another game with Doom, but if you want to be a good Doom player, you can't just make up your mind about who you want to Doom before the fight. You have some priority lists, right? You look at these heroes, you're probably thinking, I probably don't have to Doom the Witch Doctor. He doesn't really do much damage. He's gonna die so easily. The Earthshaker doesn't have a blink. So you want to Doom one of the 3 cores, and potentially if you can Doom like an Alchemist before he has Chemical Rage on, that could be super value. Or the Juggernaut, actually Dooming Juggernaut to prevent Healing Ward is also pretty good too in against a high ground defense scenario. But it'll come down to the situation, and it's not easy.
Well, the Rat, it's halfway here for MP. He's got the
I think that,
initiation. Looking for it. Omni Slash, he may actually be comboed down before he gets off the Doom. He's managed to survive through all of that. The Echo Slam as well as the Omni Slash, despite not looking good for MVP Phoenix. Dubu gets off a really good ultimate on the side, though, that will be able to, looks like, kill Boomba with the help of QO. He might even get out, though. Dubu is looking to help out MP, throws out the paralyzing cast, but he's surrounded by 3 different heroes. Looks like there's nothing he could do there. Boomba's going for the TP out. QO not going to be able to see him in time. He gets away. Unbelievable. Signature.Trust going to keep every single one of their heroes alive again, and Signature.Trust take out 3 of MVP.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a disaster for Signature because Doom blinked in and he didn't really find anyone. He was sort of out of range, but I guess, net worth graph doesn't lie. Just Trust are so rich. Basically, the bounty hunter is a Guardian Greaves, and when Doom was low, I'm pretty sure the passive on the Guardian Greaves, it helped him survive so much.
Yeah. At that point, he's like at 43 armor or something like that, right? You see 15 armor, plus he already had the plate mail on him and everything else, so that Omni Slash just started doing no damage.
Yeah, but MVP are still okay. They fought very far away from their base, and Alchemist died. It's not ideal, but he's close to that Octarine core. I think the comeback scenario for MVP is they got the Octarine core on MP, and using the Imba 33-second boost of travel cooldown and the Radiance push, then they control the map and take Roche for themselves, because they have a pretty good lineup for Roche. You have the Spray for minus armor, then you have 2 heroes that can tank Roche almost indefinitely. And Earthshaker and Witch Doctor, possibly some of the best heroes to contest or like counter contest when like the other team is trying to contest you. These 2 heroes are really good at fighting around the pit.
Yeah. Interesting pickup. Lakel's goes for the heart on his Phantom Lancer instead of, say, considering Manta or Butterfly or something like that. Why do you think that is? Is that out of fear of the Echo Slam essentially kind of one-shotting him?
I think earlier when they tried to go for high ground, when they were in a more confident position, they had some trouble with sustain. They do have their Urn and Guardian Greaves, but the Enchantress is starting to do a lot of damage. The Acid Spray and PL. The bottle is basically not enough for him to fight comfortably with his teammates. He's not the main damage dealer, but however, like he still is going to be useful with his Diffusal Blade and Lance chucking. The heart just makes it so that he can also be there with the Doom. Right now, Doom is pretty much the only true frontliner, and the more frontliners you have, it's just very synergetic. Febby finally gets that Blink Dagger, and if he keeps this hidden from Signature, that'll be potentially you can
Radiant's top tower
see a really good Echo Slam. It's a level 2 Echo Slam too.
They're gonna have to start TPing back. Actually, Signature.Trust, they keep the Jakiro there a little bit longer. I thought they were actually gonna back up and do some sort of smoke play or something, but they're fully defensively rotating. MVP Phoenix might just be able to get out of this unscathed. Forev is just taking the tier 2 tower and will be able to prance away, thanks in part to that Force Staff.
Yeah, and Mask of Madness. Well, he activated later, but I actually don't remember if Doom disables Mask of Madness. It shouldn't.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't.
Yeah. Febby?
Might be done for here. QO comes back, has the Omni Slash ready to go. MVP Phoenix, I think, are just kind of showing some strength and protecting Febby, making sure he gets out, because if Febby dies, then Signature.Trust are going to feel really comfortable pushing down mid and taking a lane of racks while he's dead. So they really do have to make sure the support stays alive.
I mean, if MP is like super on top of his game, he can play that Naga way where he goes into the middle of the map somewhere, hides, and then starts cutting creeps, which should be very frustrating for Signature. And Forev here gets doomed. He didn't get the heal off.
Slam still gets laid out. They are able to catch Lakel's here. The ultimate goes down. The Crystal Main actually does a lot of damage in a short period of time. 2 down from MVP. They're going to get a third and Doom quite easily. MP comes back. He's got the Unstable Concoction ready to go. Starts going for the Doombringer with his Manta, but he's going to get torn apart before he can actually kill the Doom. In fact, he's getting kited around now. QO is finally able to finish off the Doom, but again, they're just ignoring Lakel's, who's able to clean up the back line time and time again. In fact, QO now out of that spin. He may just be run down. He's already been purged once, trying to escape back to the tier 4 towers. Lakel's purges him again and keeps on laying into him with another lance. They might just be able to run him down if they had another stun, but unfortunately that's not the case. They blow through all their Diffusal Blade charges and are unsuccessful in their attempt at going for that kill, which also means they can't very easily go high ground. They win the fight, but they still have to defend their side lanes.
Yeah, it's interesting that actually the off lane and mid hero for Signature are the better heroes to high ground than the carry of Signature.Trust. That freezing field from Crystal Maiden, it seemed to do so much damage in such a short amount of time. Maybe lucky procs, but it just the Earthshaker and what was it?
is under attack.
The Enchantress, holy crap. They just disappeared.
Yeah, I think that was some very fortunate Novas that went down from that freezing field. Jab's going to be run into, combo stuns. The Shiva's slow, but I don't think Signature.Trust can actually pursue. Forev positioning himself very far forward here. Does manage to get the Force Staff ahead of the Ice Path. Now MP is here. The Unstable Concoction gets the stun onto Boomfell. The Juggernaut spin. Omni-Slash managed to stay onto MyPro. Looks like he's going to be going down here. Lakel's, it's all up to him to try and win this fight. Febby manages to successfully TP out. Lakel's dodges the Unstable Concoction with a Doppelganger, but I don't think this really matters too much. They might be able to get Forev, but MVP Phoenix are still going to be, I think, pretty happy with that exchange, as bottom lane QO still running at Jabs. Will be able to get him eventually. Lakel's came back with the boots of travel in. Yes, Forev is able to get out because of the fact that Lakel's abandoned that kill, but this one's definitely more important. If they can actually get QO, they'll not only get a big carry kill, but also dropping the gem.
Yeah. It looked pretty good for MVP, that engagement, until Kyo died. Kyo dying itself, plus losing the gem, not ideal. But he played that pretty well. He used the diffusal charges to secure himself some kills, and he might have gotten away towards the end if he had more no, probably not. He did basically diffused the Frostbite, but it wasn't enough. Because PL had a fresh set of charges from his diffusal level 2. Yeah. I wonder why they don't make it so that you can purchase more charges after that you go through all 16 of them.
I'm not sure. Speaking of that, what do you think Lakel should be building next?
Let's see.
Butterfly is the answer, maybe?
Butterfly.
They
yeah,
won't
Butterfly
have
might be
FAB
nice.
for a while.
Thinking Scotty can also be nice.
Yeah.
To lock down the Juggernaut or the Alchemist. And more stats is always better.
Those two are definitely on my top 2 items for Lakel's to pick up. I think
because both
go ahead.
Yeah, both the items we mentioned they help in DPS and tank ability.
Top tower is under attack.
I like if he had a different item other than Heart, I would say Scotty for sure. But I kind of like the idea of Heart into this Scotty. I think something about that sounds like really good, just effective HP. It will be able to get a nice double shot there with the Ice Path to jump forward here. Unstable Concoction going to go down on the AABBA, but they already took out the Witch Doctor. Combo from Debbie. Echo Slam onto 2. They will be able to take out the Doom, but still, Lakel's lives on, and he's just trying to deal with his damage dealer. Forev in the background. Kiwo going for the spins. He's going to be able to go onto the Chikira with the Unstable Concoction, locking him in underneath the staircase. Signature.Trust now hiding themselves in the trees. Boombell going to be hit by that Fisher. Still going for Forev, though, trying to run him down with the Lances, but Lakel's just doesn't have the attack speed to be able to accomplish that. Hit by the Unstable Concoction. Can they combo stun him long enough to be able to take out this tanky hero? They managed to get the Doppelganger off. Shivas is still there. Baits one of his illusions to the side. They still have the Unstable Concoction, realizing which one is real. They combo the stuns even further. MVP Phoenix win the fight and will now be able to take Roshan, completing their comeback.
Yeah, I think at this point MVP have come back where it's in their favor now. That Doom getting absorbed by the Lincolns was so big too. For kind of a surprise Lincolns, I suppose. Doom was completely not aware of the Lincolns.
They had to spend so much time trying to chase down that Enchantress still because the DPS is still there, and it's a hero you kind of have to address. If you're not able to disable that ultimate, then you've got to be able to put some pressure on her, and that just meant that the damage was drastically slowed down by Signature.Trust. They weren't getting very much value out of their Phantom Lancers because of that untouchable flow, and now they really can't afford to lose any heroes while MVP Phoenix is trying to push high ground because they're trying to keep this buyback alive for the Phantom Lancer so he can get his next big luxury item. But the MVP Phoenix are going to be able to make the jump here. The Omni Slash goes on to My Pro. They do have the Glimmer Cape though, and QO unsuccessful in that regard. Forev comes forward, unable to get the bounty hunter as he goes in biz. Good Ice Path, good on Macro Pyres. They bought the time necessary for Lakel's to come back naturally without using his buyback, and MVP Phoenix will now have to retreat.
Looks like they might be baiting with the MP. He does have an Aegis and...
Oh, not again! Lincoln still manages to go off. AABBA is going to be attempted save here for Signature.Trust, but the Fisher holds him in a little bit longer. The Glimmer Cape finally wears itself out, and Enchantress will do the honors of killing him. They still have the Echo Slam, too.
There was a bit of a miscommunication, I think. They meant to use the ATOS on the Enchantress and like kind of Doom right away. But honestly, looking at what's happening right now, that Doom on Enchantress, I doubt it would have mattered too much. Everyone else is so strong now. The game is no longer what we were seeing 20 minutes ago. All 5 heroes on MVP are quite effective at their job. Maybe the Witch Doctor less so, because he's kind of underfarmed.
This Enchantress is so scary though, with the Ags given over to him, with Mask of Madness, Dragonlance, Lincolns. He's 6-slotted, kind of with some poor stat items, but he's still kind of 6-slotted with an extra Ags in that 7th slot.
Yeah. I mean, March and I were talking about the Enchantress builds lately. We were saying, okay, like obviously the most popular build is to go Dragonlance into Aghanims, right? But
Ooh, Echo Slam,
Echo
pulls it
Slam.
down. Wasn't able to get full combination because the Shuriken bounced back, but still, they were able to control the Bounty Hunter long enough to kill him, and Lakel's is low enough that he can't really go anywhere. He's going to have to go back to the fountain here sometime soon, as I can't imagine he's going to be able to battle that out with these heroes much longer. QO is on the hunt. They're going to be able to get another enchant totem, slowing down Lakel's, and I can only imagine this is GG from Signature.Trust quite soon, as yeah, even after the buyback, they still call it.
Yeah, I felt like it was a really noble effort from Signature.Trust. Felt like really they knew MVP inside out during the early game and throughout maybe the earlier half of the mid game, but they didn't really have a specific plan as to how to close out the game once they had a lead, which was unfortunate because they made not like too big of a mistake to call it a throw, but they underestimated MVP's potential to defend, or rather dirty up the fight and make it